Snow White. A version by a tale by the fablecottage.com. Once upon a time, in a kingdom very far away, there lived a queen and a king. The king was handsome and kind. Everybody loved him. But the real ruler of the kingdom was his wife, the queen. Before she became queen, she worked in the castle kitchen. She was very poor. But she was also so beautiful and funny. And very good at Scrabble. So the king fell in love with her and married her. The king loved the queen very much, but the queen was always afraid that someone, the king, would meet someone more beautiful. Luckily, the queen had a magic mirror. The mirror saw everything and knew everything. Every day, the queen looked at herself in the mirror and asked, "Magic mirror on the wall, who's the most beautiful of all?" The mirror replied, "You are, my queen. You are the most beautiful woman in the whole world." The queen was happy. She knew there was nobody in the world as beautiful as her. But one day, everything changed. The queen stood in front of the mirror and asked her usual question, "Magic mirror on the wall, whose is the most beautiful of all?" Then the mirror replied, "You are very beautiful, my queen, but the most beautiful woman in the world is no." Then she sat down and sobbed, "I will lose everything." The queen was afraid, and that fear turned her heart cold and hard. She called a trusted hunter to her room. "Find the girl, Snow White," she ordered. "Take her far, far away. Take her deep into the woods." And the queen looked deep into the hunter's eyes. "She must never come back." The hunter found Snow White and took her into the forest. When they reached the deepest, darkest part of the forest, the hunter stopped. "Go," he whispered. "Run fast and don't ever go home." Snow White watched the hunter disappear. "Well, I can go home now," she muttered. She looked around in the dark and silent forest. It started to rain. I can say to her, "Okay, feet, let's go." Snow White ran and ran. She ran across a stream, up a hill and down to the dark valley. She ran all morning. By midday, her pale skin and rosy cheeks were covered in mud and scratches. By early afternoon, her long hair was full of sticks and leaves. By night, she was not beautiful anymore. She was tired, hungry, and shivering with cold. But Snow White smelled wood smoke in the air. She followed the smell and had a cottage in the woods. There was a warm, open golden glow from the windows. She knocked on the door. "Hello?" she called her. "Is anyone home?" There was no answer. She pushed the door open and went inside. Inside the cottage was 7 tiny beds, 7 tiny chairs, and a roaring fire. The big table was covered by dirty dishes. Snow White was hungry and thirsty. She found some bread and ate the whole loaf. She found some milk and drank the whole bottle. And then she sat in front of the water fire to get warm. And just like that, she fell asleep. When she woke up, there were 7 drops there standing around her. Snow White rubbed her eyes. "Who are you?" she said. "This is our house," said one dwarf angrily. "Who are you?" "You scare her," said another. "She's a giant. He scares me," said yet another. "Can I stay with you?" asked Snow White. "It seems I can't go home." The dwarfs whispered amongst themselves. "Okay," they agreed. "But only if you help us wash the dishes." We hate washing dishes. It's a deal, said Snow White. And so, Snow White found a new home with the 7 dwarfs. Every morning she washed the dishes, and every morning the dwarfs left to work and they said, "Be careful, don't open the door for anyone. And thank you for washing the dishes. We really hate washing the dishes." Back at the castle, the queen was feeling better. She thought Snow White was gone forever, but she was still a little afraid. "Come and play Scrabble with me," shouted the queen from the bottom of the stairs. "You can go first." "Maybe later, dearest," replied the queen. She stood in front of a magic mirror. "Magic mirror on the wall, who is the most beautiful of all?" The mirror replied, "You are very beautiful, my queen. But the girl Snow White is the most beautiful woman in the world." "Snow White is alive!" shouted the queen. "She's living with the 7 dwarfs in the forest," said the mirror. "Last night she was not very beautiful, but as of 1 p.m. today, she was more beautiful than you." "Rats!" shouted the queen. She went into her closet and got her old coat and old boots. "I'll have to kill her myself." She ran out of the palace, jumped into the fastest carriage, and sped up towards the forest. Snow White was reading beside the fire when there's a knock on the door. "Knock, knock." She peeked through the windows. There was a woman holding a basket of fruits. The woman has a beautiful face, but she is wearing an old dress and old boots. "Fruits, fresh fruits, apple and bananas, pears and orange." "Oh, I want some fruit," thought Snow White. The woman saw Snow White behind the window. "Hello, dear," said the woman. "Do you want some fruit? I have some delicious apples tonight." "I love apples," said Snow White, "but I'm supposed to open the door for anyone. Those might be poisonous." "Oh, how silly," said the woman. She cut the apple in half. "Here, you can taste the half." Wait a minute. For the apple to Snow White and ate the other half. When Snow White saw the woman eating, her mouth watered, she couldn't stop herself. She took one big bite of the apple. Almost immediately, Snow White fell to the ground. The apple was poisoned, but only one half. The queen sighed with relief. She got back into her carriage and rode home. When the dwarfs arrived home, they found Snow White lying on the floor. They yelled in her ears, they tickled her feet, and they poured cold water in her face. But she didn't wake up. "Is she dead?" asked one dwarf. "She doesn't seem to be alive," said a second. And also the dwarf made a glass coffin for her beloved friend. They sat it on the table full of beautiful parts of the forest, surrounded by flowers. Snow White lay there for over a year. So spring, summer, autumn, and winter. One day, a prince come from a different kingdom was walking in the forest with a dog. When he saw forest with a strange glass coffin, he was brushed off the leaves and saw Snow White inside. Just then, he tripped over his dog and knocked the coffin off the table. Snow White rolled off the coffin and the glass. "Oh no! Oh dear! Oh, fiddlesticks!" The prince was scared, but an amazing thing happened. The piece of the poisoned apple was stuck in Snow White's throat, fell out, and she began to cough. The prince goes to help her. apple, she called. Can I beg your pardon? Said the prince. No more apples. That night, the queen stood in front of a magic mirror and asked her a question. Magic mirror of the wall, was the most beautiful of all? And to her surprise, the mirror said, You are very beautiful, my queen. But Snow White is again the most beautiful woman in the world. What? Screamed the queen. In her anger, she picks up a shoe and throws it at the mirror. The mirror smashed into the 1,000 pieces. But the magic inside it was released. No! Screamed the queen. She collapsed on the floor and fell into a deep sleep. While she slept, the queen has a strange dream. In her dream, she was dancing in hot iron shoes. Her feet burned and burned, but she couldn't stop dancing. When the queen woke up from this terrible dream, it was morning. The sun was shining, and the queen felt different. A magic mirror spell was broken, so she didn't feel anxious or jealous anymore. She felt free. She went downstairs to find her husband. She really wanted to play Scarborough. And what happened to Snow White? Well, the dwarfs were very too happy to see her alive. They invited the prince for dinner. When the prince learned that nobody liked washing the dishes, he brought him a dishwasher. Everybody lived happily after and after. The end. Remember to visit the fablecottage.com. See you in the next episode.